subcommittee to order. And I want to thank you for attending this afternoon's hearing on the Coast Guard. It is an honor to take the time to, in the Oceans and Great Lakes Subcommittee, to hold this important hearing. This committee and the Senate are working on a number of important initiatives that impact the Coast Guard, including the fiscal year 2022 funding bills, historic investments in American jobs in the infrastructure bill, and protecting against the impacts of climate change through the Build Back Better budget. And finally, work is already underway on drafting the next Coast Guard authorization bill. The administration's budget request for the Coast Guard for fiscal year 2022 seeks to make significant investments to improve the readiness and capabilities for the Coast Guard and to improve the quality of life for Coast Guard members and their families. Of the $13.1 billion requested for the Coast Guard, $1.6 billion is included for procurement, construction, and improvement accounts. I will be interested to hear from you whether this funding level is sufficient to support one of the largest acquisition periods in Coast Guard history, which includes programs like the Offshore Patrol Cutter and the Polar Security Cutter. Unfortunately, this budget request does not adequately plan or budget for the impacts of climate change, particularly for construction of Coast Guard facilities that have long been underfunded and are in need of replacement due to the effects of climate change. This concern also extends to the fact that the budget does not include funding for an additional Great Lakes icebreaker. Increasing icebreaking capacity on the Great Lakes is critical to facilitating commerce and transportation in winter months, and icebreakers also play a critical role in preventing flooding, which has been exacerbated by extremely high water levels, as well as irregular and large ice flows made worse by climate change. Additionally, I'm concerned with the Coast Guard's recent approach on Buy America policies. I'm discouraged by the direction the Coast Guard is taking on procuring critical components like engines and shipboard service diesel generators on programs like the Polar Security Cutter, and I'll be interested to hear how the Coast Guard is considering the health of the American supplier, our industrial base, and the total life cycle costs associated. This will continue to be a priority for me as chair. Finally, while the U.S. Coast Guard has made commendable progress in areas of diversity, equity, and inclusion, women make up only 23% of the officer corps and only 15% of the enlisted workforce. I'll be interested to hear in your testimony and answers about the progress made on improving representation of women as well as racial and ethnic diversity within the Coast Guard. As chair, I will make it a priority to ensure that we are conducting oversight on all Coast Guard issues, from acquisitions like the future Great Lakes icebreaker to personnel issues, including diversity and support for women and families. Accordingly, today's hearing will be a little different. We will hear testimony from both the Commandant and the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Coast Guard, Master Chief Vanderheyden. Admiral, thank you for being here today. You are no stranger to this committee, and Master Chief, welcome. I look forward to hearing from you about how Congress can invest in the Coast Guard's most important resource, its people. Thank you both for being here today. And with that, I'll hand it over to a great advocate for the Coast Guard and a great colleague, Ranking Member Sullivan.
Well, I want to begin by thanking Chair Baldwin and congratulating you, my colleague, on the chairmanship, and I look forward to working with you again as we have as chair and ranking in past Congresses. So thank you. I think we're off to a great start, and I